Well, hello there, everybody, and this is Auntie, and I am here to to give my opinion and some advice about when 90 Day Fiance goes live. If this is your first time being here, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And to all of my new subscribers, thank you so much for being here, and to all of my nieces and nephews. Thank you so much for your continued support. Thank you so much to all of my moderators who are out here, and all of our guests. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button when you come into the room so that YouTube knows that you are here, and I do too. Um, a lot of you all have been asking me about my opinion about the 90 Day Fiance live show. And I am going to try to be as diplomatic and as tactful as I can be when giving my opinion about the 90 Day Fiance show and its guest. Okay. And yes, I am going to open up the phone lines because I believe that it is important that TLC hears from you, the fans of 90 Day Fiance, and the fans of Auntie's advice. I am not, okay, so let me just shoot straight from the hip because that's what I do. So, as many of you all know, I was given the opportunity to go on the show, and I did not go on to the show. Um, for me, um, I had a lot of issues with some other things, but I do support the 90 Day Fiance franchise, and I absolutely love doing the reviews on it. I am a super fan of the 90 Day Fiance characters, and this is where we gather and meet to share our mutual like for the show. And so when I watched the Superfan show last week, I watched it from two different perspectives. Number one, I watched it from the perspective of a fan and a viewer of the show. And I also watched it from the perspective of someone who had inside information about the format of the show. The way that the format was presented, it seems like they had some changes to their format. And in my opinion, I think that a lot of those changes really brought down the quality of the show. I thought that there were just too many guests, too many people speaking on too many different topics. And I think that it would have been a much better show and would have been more enjoyable had we zeroed in on just a couple of fans and not a slew of fans. Sometimes putting too many ingredients into the cake mix, it just basically spoils the whole batter. And while I believe that TLC had very good intentions, um, I think it just was too many people there. It, we opened up with Anfisa and George, I think it was, or Chantel and Pedro, and they were asking these YouTubers for their advice. And I think, just with them Skyping together, the delays that often come from doing things live, as you all see when I do my live videos, there are a lot of delays. I think that the delays hindered it, the quality of the show. And at one point, the ladies were talking over top of one another. One of the YouTubers even made a reference to um, Costco or something like that. And I'm thinking, as a YouTuber, as someone who could possibly be looking for endorsements and advertisements, you never throw a company under the bus or make a public criticisms. You know, you can just say bye to any advertisements that you may have had from that. And then, when you make a statement like that, you need to make sure that you say, in my opinion, or something to, because you just don't go out there and say that somebody's stuff is yucky and it's a brand. I think that we have to be mindful as YouTubers, as journalists, or whatever we call ourselves. We have to be mindful sometimes about what we say, because at the end of the day, this very well may be the person who opens up a door for you to have some type of advertisements. So I was a little concerned about that comment. Um, what else do I have to say about this? I just think that um, they did the best they could given the situation and the circumstances. It was something that they wanted to do. They did it for the first time. And as we know, a lot of times when you do things for the first time, it doesn't turn out that way. I think if they tweak the show, that it will be enjoyable to us. It just needs some tweaking. And one of the things about Michelle Collins, I've seen a lot of comments in my inbox saying that Michelle Collins wasn't a good host and so on and so forth. But what I noticed that they did not do is they didn't count people down. Michelle Collins, unfortunately, cut people off left and right. And I couldn't understand that. I couldn't understand why there wasn't someone who was in the background with like a cue card or something saying 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, so that the person who was Skyping in would know, okay, well, my time is almost up and I've got to wrap this up. But it was just like, just kind of just, oh, I'm sorry, I've got to cut you off, and I've got to cut. And some people, it wasn't even led with an apology; they just were cut off. And being auntie, being the woman that I am, I know I would have been. I'm talking about so angry, embarrassed, humiliated, pissed, and some more if Michelle Collins had cut me off mid sentence. And I noticed that she did that quite often. And I know as a host, you don't have control over the show. She absolutely did the best. And I'm trying to be diplomatic. So that's why y'all see me kind of thinking, because I got to be diplomatic about how I say this. Um, but she doesn't have control over anything. She's an employee and not an employer for TLC. So kudos to her for just trying to make the best out of a new situation. I think that, sometimes we have to give grace, and we have to understand or see things from another perspective, from the other person's perspective. And I don't believe that Michelle was a bad host. I just think that she was a host who was just trying to be as flexible as possible. But the cutting people off and stuff like that, I just was like, mm. And then I think that Danielle, I think is TV gold for TLC. She is ratings gold. But why they had Lauren on there, I couldn't understand. I didn't know. I don't know whether or not on Reddit or maybe Sarcasm or maybe Twitter, Lauren is a fan favorite. But for me, I just thought that it was extremely unnecessary to even have her there. Like, what the f is she there for? Um, I know for me, I barely wanted to cover her and her husband. They just were extremely boring. And so why they had her on there, I couldn't understand. And I did not think that the guests that they had on there had anything really they didn't really contribute anything to the conversation. TLC, I think that is a good idea to do a fan favorite show. I absolutely think that you have something there. I really do. But you've got to be mindful about the format. I noticed one of the things that I think kind of bothered me was when Antonio was talking. And, Antonio is one of those, street dudes, and he says it like it is. It just is what it is with Antonio. But there was one segment where he was talking, and Michelle was kind of looking like, what happened, and he was steady talking, and you couldn't hear anything. And I thought to myself, did they censor him, or is it that his Skype went out? Um, I don't know. I think that unless he is using words that FTC would totally um, fine TOC for, no one should ever be censored, especially if you're doing a fan show. And you can't control everything when you're doing something like that. I know that TOC wanted to give everybody the opportunity to, to do it like a dry run, and to know what questions would be asked, to give you an opportunity to prepare an answer. And I think that whatever Antonio had to say, we should have heard it. And so, again, I'm not accusing them of censoring him. I am wondering if he was censored. And if he was censored, why? Did he say something that, um, that could have gotten TLC in trouble? Then absolutely censor his ass. But if he didn't say something that would have caused them to be in trouble, I just, I give the side eye to that. But for the most part, I didn't find the guests to be interesting. And I think that is because my appetite for reviews is a little different from everybody. One thing I can say is that a lot of people don't like Auntie's advice. They don't like the reviews I give. I am not their flavor, and it's okay. If you don't want to dip, out of the mint chocolate chip, then strawberry may suit you just fine, or maybe vanilla, or rocky road. Everybody is not for everybody. So while I did not find any of the guests interesting, except for Antonio, maybe some of you all did. I just didn't find anything that they had to say interesting. And I think it's not because they didn't have anything to contribute to the conversation. I think it was just too many things going on, too many guests going on. And I know they wanted to give everybody an opportunity, but it really does need to be streamlined, so that you get a quality show and not a quantity show. TLC, please streamline it next time. Just do a couple of people, get it, knock it out the park, get it over with, focus on those three people. Like when you look at CNN and things like that, they may have a panel of people that sit on there at one time, and they'll talk about a particular topic, maybe 20, 20, 25 minutes. And then, you have, Michelle Collins, giving her opinion about something, or whatever. I just don't want to knock it because I think it's a wonderful idea. I think it's a great concept. It just really needs to be streamlined. And did I find anything that the guest said interesting? No. I didn't. And that's just my humbled opinion. But I celebrate them. And I think, given a different format, maybe they would say something that is interesting. I don't know. Um, I I regret not doing the show? No. Get it together first, and then let's talk. I think it really needs to come together more. The concept needs to come together more. Um, I don't know what else to say because I don't want to be negative and I don't want to come off as negative. And but I hope that you all are getting what I am trying to say and what I'm trying not to say. So I'm going to open up the fan lines to you all. I think that TLC has a family. TLC, I do believe that you have built a family, and that's kind of hard on the YouTube streets. You have people who are part of the family, and you always have people who are visiting, and you have people who are just peeking. They just look in and they peek and they go away. And I think that you have built enough family where we will support what you do. But you have to make sure that you feed the family accordingly, that you give us things that are really useful to us. And that's why you have these different social media platforms like YouTube and Reddit and Twitter and Instagram, like 90 Day Morons on Instagram. I don't know how many of you are on Instagram, but let me tell you something. That is whoever is running that page, they're a hoot. They have the funniest memes and pictures, and the captions at the bottom are fantastic. And a lot of people that are on Instagram absolutely love them, but that is for some people. And then you have some Facebook groups that has thousands upon thousands of people that are on there, and that's for that group, the group that likes Facebook. I'm not a big Facebooker. Um, I just, I'm not really captivated with Facebook. I do it, but I'm not really a big Facebooker. But for TLC, you have all of us in the family with you: YouTubers, bloggers, podcasters, social media, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. We're all part of this family and we celebrate you and we root you on. But just make sure that you put things out there that we can grab onto and we can celebrate. We don't want to be critical of what you do because we know you do this all for us. And this has caused us to come together as a family here at Auntie's Advice. But we do want to see you do better. And we know you can do better. And so we're looking forward to the next fan favorite. Hopefully, some of you all who are in the comment section will be chosen to do it. I think that if they dive a little deeper and maybe look into, the different social media platforms and really find fans, people who are out there who are celebrating the show with comments and memes and all of that kind of stuff. Dig a little deeper than just what you see, the people who are doing it. But there are other people like Katie Nahomes, who is on Twitter. Like she is phenomenal and fantastic. I just knew that she was going to be asked to do the show. And when she didn't, I was like shocked. And I haven't had an opportunity to go out there and ask her why she wasn't there. But this woman is phenomenal on Twitter. And so, TLC, bring the whole family in. Make sure that the meal is fitting for all of us to eat from. Like I said, we're going to support you no matter what. We're going to be behind you no matter what. But what you don't want is us to get bored with, excuse me, anything new that you are trying to do. But we do. Um, okay, I'm going to read some of your comments. Erica said it was definitely an attempt by 90 Day Fiance to control the commentary. you see how quickly she cut people off. Mm, I was definitely wondering. Patience O said it was censored because normally if audio goes out, the interviewer says it so it could be repeated, and she talked over it like nothing happened. Miss Always Blessed, maybe they'll have different guests next time. That trash-tastic girl Nicole is good. I think that she would be totally, she would censor her damn self. She censors her mother. She censors everything. I just don't see Nicole being someone who could um, just, come up with things off the top of her head. And you have to be very quick with it when you are doing a live show. I know that a lot of times I come out here and I do these live shows with you all, and it's much harder. I mean, it seems like it's easy to sit out here and basically talk to yourself because you don't have any human interaction other than the comment sections. And that's when I have my glasses on. But it is very hard to sit in front of people and to give an opinion and to be quick about it. Um, and that's why sometimes when I go back and I listen, I'm like, God, I pronounced that word incorrectly. And I know I'm a very articulate woman, but when I come out here, um, it doesn't always come out the way that I would like it to, and that's because you're trying to get a lot of information out in a very short period of time, and so it's not easy to do what we do. Anyone who has a podcast or a YouTube channel, it really isn't easy because you're sitting here and you're doing it live and you have to censor yourself and everything, and I think that that's why the person made the mistake, in my opinion, and said, a negative comment about a brand. It's just something that you don't do. You don't say nasty food from X, Y, and Z because you never know when you're going to need someone or something. And so you just have to be careful when you're talking about people's brands on national television. We can sit here on YouTube all day long and say what we want to say. But when you're sitting on national television and you're saying things like that, it's just like, what? Are you for real? You said that? And that's not to say anything negative about the person because I really do enjoy them. I like them. I think that they're a wonderful person. But I mean, when you're on national television, you have to really, 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 really censor yourself. Rachel English said 90 days is great, but they have to keep us coming back for more. But if they do stuff like last week, we get pissed off and the fans don't want, I guess you're saying, and they don't want the fans pissed off. I agree. Candy Culture said, oh no, we're talking about Michelle Collins, worst host ever. I don't know if she was the worst host ever because I have seen her do um I've seen her be a host on Little Women of Atlanta, and I thought that she did a fantastic job. Again, you're sitting there and you're doing something live, and live television, live taping of anything is so different than it is if it's scripted. I can get my camera out, which I will start using again. Um, I can get my camera out and I can edit myself and I can record something over and over again until I get it right. And I can make sure that my hair is right and my makeup is flawless and all that. I can easily do that with a camera behind a camera of something that I have pre-recorded. But when you're sitting there and you're doing something live, and I'm sure she had cameramen and producers and executive producers and everything just saying, you're live, you gotta talk. Um, well, when you're doing something live like that, it's hard. It's easy for us to sit back and criticize too. It's easy to criticize. And that's why I'm sympathetic and really trying to watch my words because I've been there. I'm there every Sunday when I go live with you. And I'm their type. You got to be careful when you criticize. And I know that a lot of people says, Auntie, you would have did a great job. I would have been nervous as hell, but I know I would have slam dunked it. But you know what? You can't control your image when somebody else is running the camera. You can't control how you look. You don't know when you're going to be censored or if you're going to be censored. And Michelle was trying to probably read off cards and everything else. That's a lot. That's a lot. Now, the other young lady who does the tell all at the end of the season, I do expect more from her because she's had an opportunity to really sit down with it and with the script, and she has a relationship with the people at TLC. So I think that she really does need to step her game up. But Michelle Collins, I understood where she was, and would I have gone off script with TLC? I don't know. You know, you don't know what you would do unless you're in a situation. I think that some people were just so damn happy to be on there that see, I'm about to be shady as hell. I don't. It just look like idiots on there. But anyway, Laura Star 2083 said I liked her on the View. Um, Ashley said Shauna Robinson is great. Um, yeah, it keeps cutting off. YouTube is having some problems. So I do, I did want to just come out here and give my say because you all have been asking and asking and asking, and I thought you had a right to know how I felt about it. I do support it. Um, and hopefully they'll get it they'll get it together. But anyway, the hour is late and I don't want to be out here long. I was going to open up the phone lines, but I think I've said enough. Give your comments down in the comment section about how you felt about it and what you think that TOC can do to improve the next one. I think that they shouldn't stop at this one. I'm sure that they've gotten feedback from all kinds of sources, but just give your honest opinion. And you know what? Try not to be so critical about it. Because guess what? One day you may be chosen to be one of the fans on the show, and it may be that opportunity that you have been looking for. So I wouldn't knock it. You know what I mean? But give your comments because they do come out. And they do read your comments. They do watch my show. And I think that they would appreciate knowing what they could do to improve it for the next time. Thank you all so much for being here. And if you didn't have an opportunity to come out to the live show after you finish looking at this, go back and look at the 90 Day Fiance What Now. I did a recap on season two, episode one, two, and three. And I just look forward to seeing you all on Sunday. Have a great night and a great weekend. And until then, I love you. Bye bye. Okay, so why this thing ain't closing? It must. Okay. See, they having problems. It won't end. Do it want me to stay out here with y'all? Yes, yes. I think it wants me to stay live with y'all. Maybe it wants me to sing a song or something. Oh my God. See that the thing freezes and now it's just like frozen here. I got love on my mind. I've got love on my mind. I've got love on my mind. And I don't know what's wrong with this. It won't turn on. I could say to the world, only you can satisfy me. Satisfy me. Oh, you have made me so very happy. Okay, come on and shut off. I got y'all. They need to stop this. Oh my mind. I've got love on my mind. I've got love on my mind. Okay, what else can I sing until this thing cut off? Hey, oh yeah. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. See if I remember these words. Come on, sing it with me. I'm taking my freedom, I'm pulling it off the shelf, putting it on the chain, putting it around my neck. I'm taking my freedom, putting it in the song, putting it in my car, 'cause it will take me far. I'm living my life like it's golden. Oh, yeah. Ooh. Ah. Hey, is this something I can give you in return for everything you gave to me? Oh, my mind.